Hey, what's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another Screw Toy action figure review. Today we'll be looking at the Marvel Legends VHS 2-pack, Doc Ock and Aunt May. And I'm very excited to review this 2-pack for you, man. I'm really excited for Aunt May and this new updated Doc Ock. I haven't reviewed any of the Marvel Legends VHS 2-packs or single packs. The X-Men has the singles and the Spider-Man has the 2-packs. We did get the Carnage and Symbiote Spider-Man previously, and now we have Doc Ock and Aunt May. And next we got the Green Goblin and MJ, which I'm very excited to have. But right now, let's get a quick look at the Doc Ock and Aunt May. Now, getting a quick look at the packaging, it is in that, VHS retro style packaging. You get the windowless packaging here with Doc Ock and Aunt May. You get the name of the characters down here, Spider-Man, Marvel Comics. On the side, you get the VHS style packaging with the number 1, number 2, Doc Ock, Marvel Legends, Aunt May, Marvel Legends. You get the picture of the characters right there, which is pretty dope. I really like this quite a bit. On the back, you get the product images right there, some renders. You get the name of the characters. On the other side, you get another promotional images of the characters right there and the style of the animated series, because again, these are inspired from the animated series, the Spider-Man animated series from the 90s. On the bottom, you get a whole bunch of bullshit, but yeah, man, not much to it. On the top, you get the Spider-Man animated series logo, Marvel. But enough about this packaging. Let's crack this bad boy, or bad boys and bad girl, open. And here we have Aunt May and all the accessories that she does come with. Straight out the packaging, she does come with 2 open palmed hands, which are pretty standard. We've seen these with other female characters. I can get it to focus real quick. There we go. These are just open gestured hands. And then she also does come with a set of interchangeable fists. So if she wants to fuck somebody up, she can punch somebody in the face like Doc Ock. So those do look good. But just getting a quick look at Aunt May. She is pretty standard. She nothing too crazy. I really do like the head sculpt. Yeah, man, I think it looks good. Kind of looks like the comic book, kind of looks like the animated series Aunt May. That facial expression is a bit odd, I will say that. That is not my favorite expression they could have gave her. She looks a bit happy, but also a bit concerned. So, yeah, I don't know. Kind of indifferent about this face sculpt, man. I like it, but I also don't. But that paint, what's it called, face printing technology is really well done. The hair is also done. You get some lighter highlights on top of that yellow plastic to kind of make that sculpt pop. And getting a look at her blazer, it looks good. It's that baby blue. You get that purple tie underneath, and then yeah, man, she gets that purple skirt, purple heels. She does have pins, as you can see. Her legs have pins, but they're underneath that skirt, so you can't really see it. And then her hands or arms are single jointed, so not much to her, man. She is pretty much traffic cone with this skirt right here and those single joints, but she's just gonna be standing there on the shelf, nothing too crazy. Getting a quick look at her articulation. Her head is on a dumbbell joint. Actually, no, it's actually on a hinge, a ball and hinge. So that's different. And then her neck is a separate piece that plugs into the body. So with those two, she can look all the way down, which is pretty great. And then she can look a decent amount up, but her hair kind of runs into her collar piece right there. So she's not going to be able to look all the way up, but still a decent amount. So nothing too bad. And then she does get no real head pivoting, just kind of wobbles on that ball joint. Her arms are on a hinge. They can hinge all the way up, so she can hit a wide pose fairly easy. And then it can rotate a full 360 if you would like. Single jointed elbow that bends in about 90. And then it does swivel. And then her hands hinge up and down and rotate a full 360. Not sure what kind of articulations underneath that jacket, but you won't really get nothing out of it. You get some swivel though, so that is nice. And then her legs are traffic cone, but they are double jointed pinned knees underneath there. And she can hit about 90 on that bend. And not much out to the side. Her feet are on hinges that hinge this much forward, that much back, and then she does have ankle pivot and pickles at the bottom of her feet. And here we have Doc Ock and all the accessories that he does come with. And straight out the packaging, he does come with a gripping hand and an open gesture hand. It kind of looks almost like a clawing hand. And then he does come with a set of fists, so if he wants to punch Spider-Man in the face, he can. So these are nice. Now the big thing about this figure are these interchangeable bendy wire tentacles. And putting them on this Doc Ock is fairly easy. They just plug in right into this little backpack thing right there. So plugging that in goes in fairly well. Plugging this in goes in fairly well. Oh, there it goes. Actually not as easy as I thought, but it still goes in pretty well. Now, putting them on the original Doc Ock that we got a few years back. This one's from the Silk 2-pack, so this came out last year, I want to say. But the original one did come out in like 2018, 2019. It's not as easy as they make it seem, man. So plugging it on top, boom, plugs in fairly easy. Plugging them at the bottom is a pain in the ass. You have to really shove it and wiggle it in there. And then they kind of stay in there, but it flops off fairly easy. As you can see, it just kind of semi-ports in there. It's not as easy as it should be, man. I think, you know, the big thing the Marvel Legends team did was kind of market this as like, oh, they're interchangeable bendy wire tentacles for your previous Doc Ock. I think what really happened was that they made this figure, they made these tentacles, and then somebody tried to plug them into the original Doc Ock, and they're like, hey guys, these semi kind of fit into the other one. Let's market it as, you know, hey, you can interchange these tentacles with the previous one. Now, I might be speaking out of my ass, and these were all originally intended to be interchangeable with the previous Doc Ock, but I don't think that's the case, because it really is a pain in the ass to put those into the previous Doc Ock. Again, that top two peg holes are fairly easy to plug in, and you shove it in there, and it stays there pretty well. And then you shove it in the bottom one. You really have to push and twist for it to kind of go in there. And if you look at the pegs of these tentacles, they really have that they have this little ridge around the peg hole. And if you look at the original tentacles, these are just a simple peg. They don't have no ridge, no nothing, just a straight peg. And comparing the two tentacles, they're very similar. These are just kind of lines that go around the tentacle, and these kind of have a more of a square in the middle, more of a design into them. You know, the claws are completely different. These are smaller claws. I'll get it to focus. That one's a bigger claw. These are tiny little claws, and they are different, as you can see. This one's more open, but still different claws. But yeah, these are, again, static. They don't really move or anything. But yeah, man, I think someone just kind of plugged them into the previous one. We're like, hey, they kind of fit, so we can make them interchangeable. But no. Getting a quick look at Doc Ock, the figure itself. It looks good, man. The head sculpt looks pretty good. Reminds me of that 90s animated series. Doc Ock, he does have that guache haircut, that Edgar haircut. Yeah, that bow cut. Kind of reminds me of, you know, the guache Mexicans. Or, you know, actually what he looks like what's his name from Dumb and Dumber? Dang, what's his name? Oh, man, Jim Carrey in Dumb and Dumber. That's kind of what it reminds me of. But it looks good. The hair sculpt is good. This is, you know, what it looks like in the TV show, so we can't really clown on it. But the glasses look good. It has that cell shading on it, that kind of that glare across the black sunglasses or goggles with that purple paint, and it wraps around the back of his head. The head sculpt looks good. The lips are painted pretty well. Kind of looks like he's wearing lipstick, so not too bad. And then the rest of the body is fairly simple. He does have the yellow shoulder pads with that orange painted in there. Looking at the back as well, he has his little backpack right there, and that marbleized gray plastic. And then the rest of the body is green, and then you get the handcuffs right there in orange and yellow. The belt, orange and yellow, and the boots have this little triangular point right there that's sculpted in the orange and yellow. And then comparing it to the previous Doc Ock, fairly similar, except he doesn't come in yellow, and this one's a lot more buffed out than the previous one. As you can see, you got chunky Doc Ock, and then you got buffed out Doc Ock. And this is my Doc Ock, man. This is what I know and love. This is I want my Doc Ock nice and plump, not, you know, skinny and muscular. So again, I prefer this one, but this one's not bad. I really do like how this one looks. Originally, I wasn't planning on keeping him, or I wasn't too excited for him, but he looks good, man. I mean, he is pinless as well, pinless joints compared to the previous one. He does have pins, but I don't know, man. You know, there's something about classic Doc Ock that you can't go wrong with. Again, this is, a lot of people's mind eye of Doc Ock because they grew up with that 90s Spider-Man cartoon, but he's not mine, man. He's not my Dr. Octopus. I like mine, again, thick and chunky. But yeah, pretty solid overall. Getting a quick look at his articulation. He does have a dumbbell joint at the top of his head, and then a separate neck piece that plugs into the body. So with those two, he can look that much up. He can't really bear the chin because this collar kind of gets in the way. So still decent, and he does get amazing head pivoting. So you can get some good poses out of that. He does have ball joints at the shoulders that getting those up. Ooh, that's real stiff, and his arm just popped off. Popping that back on. Popping that back on. Well, I'm gonna have to heat that up. So, yeah, that arm is really stiff, so I need to heat that up because I'm scared I'm gonna break that. But it's supposed to move up that much, as you can see. He does have double jointed elbows to bend in just about 90 because that collar again gets in the way, that shoulder pad. But yeah, good amount. And then he does have a ball joint at the waist that can go this much forward, that much back. He gets nice pivoting, and you can rotate a full 360 if you would like. And then he does not have drop down hips, but he does have upper thigh cuts that's really well hidden in those lines right there. So that does look nice. Double jointed knees that are pinless. They go about a little bit further than 90 because then that cuff around the boot kind of gets in the way. And then he does have hinges at his feet that hinge this much up, this much back. And then he does have ankle pivot with pegals at the bottom of his feet. And it would have been nice to get a boot cut right here, but they didn't implement that. Would have been perfectly hidden, but I don't know why they didn't do it. But yeah, pretty solid overall. Not sure why this shoulder's really stiff. I need to go heat that up before I break it. So yeah, man. Oh, I did forget to mention that this hand is horizontal and this one is vertical. So now going to quick look at some size comparisons. Here we have Doc Ock and Aunt May next to the Marvel Legends 2-pack Doc Ock. Here we have him next to the Retro Card Marvel Legends Sandman. Here they are next to the Marvel Legends Deluxe Retro Card Kingpin, the Marvel Legends Retro Card Rhino, the Marvel Legends Retro Card Electro. Here they are next to the Mafex Symbiote Spider-Man, Classic Spider-Man, and Venom. So I was able to pop his arm back on. It still pops off fairly easy. As soon as I try to articulate his hand, it just pops off. It does go back on fairly easy. Just a little bit of force and it'll go back on there, and it's fine. As soon as I move the arm up though, it comes off. So I'm gonna have to hit up Hasbro Pulse, see if they can send me a replacement. Because yeah, that's pretty much useless if I can't articulate his arm. But I did want to see how strong these tentacles are, so I'm gonna pop them on. Try a couple things and I'll let you know if these tentacles are worth it or not. So he can hold himself up, but it's a bit tricky. I did try to stand him up on my table, but it's too smooth of a surface and it kind of just slides and slips underneath his own weight. I did have to use this cardboard insert that he came with, and I also did have to switch out the claws with the previous Doc Ock because these are way too small, the ones that he came with. But the claws, once you plug them onto those ball joints, they are a bit loose. They wobble all around the place, as you can see. Super loose. So again, it is a balancing act. You kind of have to just kind of get it perfect for him to stand. And now that I took him off, I don't think I'll be able to get him to stand again. So it's a bit tricky. Again, he can hold himself up, but you really have to fiddle with him a lot. And you do have to switch out the claws, and they are a bit loose. So I did try to have him holding up Aunt May or something, and it's just the figure's too heavy, and the figure's too heavy for him to hold up. So I'm sure somebody will be able to do it with enough patience and enough, messing with the tentacles and playing around with him. But I just didn't have that patience right now. So for now, as far as I know, I don't think he can hold up any figure with those tentacles. So, and there you have it for a 2-pack that I was very excited about. This is a bit of a disappointment, man, to be honest with you. Aunt May, she's pretty okay, pretty standard. I knew going into it she wasn't going to be the most articulated, the most fun, but she is my favorite out of the two. Now Doc Ock, that's where the disappointment really hits. First off, that QC issue with the arm popping off and not wanting to stay is just a pain in the ass. I don't know what's been up with my luck lately, man, because I've just been getting QC issue after another. Yeah, it hasn't been a good month for me in my figures. And then the bendy wire tentacles are really the biggest letdown out of this 2-pack. It's the main reason I bought it. You know, Aunt May was one of the main reasons, but those tentacles are another reason. It was for me to put on my previous Doc Ock, and they're a bit of a letdown, man. The Marvel Legends team advertised this as completely interchangeable. They're compatible with the other, and this and that, and they just made it. They hyped it up to be like it was meant to be plugged into the previous Doc Ock, and I don't think that's the case. I've tried to pop those tentacles into the previous Doc Ock, and they just don't seem like they're the right fit. Now they do plug in. Don't get me wrong, they do go into that previous Doc Ock, but they just don't feel like they're meant to be in there. Like they were made or designed for it to also be compatible with that Doc Ock. Again, I feel like someone designed this, made the figure, and then tried to plug them into the previous one, and they're like, hey, they kind of fit. Let's, advertise it as that. And that's not the case, and that's really shitty because I don't like false advertisement, and I always bad for the Marvel Legends team. You get a lot of negativity, people talking negative about the Marvel Legends team, and I always try to see the bright side, but this is just shitty, man. I don't like that. I don't like that one bit. So a bit of a letdown, man, for sure. If you really want on May, definitely pick this 2-pack up. If you really want those bandy wire tentacles, definitely pick this 2-pack up. But if you are content with your previous Doc Ock and you can live without an Aunt May, then this is a definite skip, man. This is not a must-have. Now, again, for me, I really wanted Aunt May to really fill in my my main Spider-Man core family team and dynamic, just to really fill out that roster for Spider-Man in my shelf. But I don't know, man. I'm kind of regretting this purchase, man. I haven't been disappointed in a set of figures in a very long time. It's not necessarily that I'm disappointed, but I had really high hopes for this 2-pack, and this is just not the case. I really wish I like this 2-pack more. You know what I mean? That QC issue with the arm really brought this 2-pack down a lot for me. And then the what's the words I'm looking here for? The tentacles were just such a disappointment. I don't know any other way to put it, but they were just such a disappointment. Yeah, man. I mean, I'm not gonna keep going on and bashing this 2-pack, but yeah, man. Again, sorely disappointed, but make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. Follow me on my Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. The links to all those are in the description down below. And I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.